Hey, what's going on? This is another episode of the Big Red Wrap Up of the Reporter for April 30th, 2023, um, on a Sunday. Well, pretty much a 2-1 today, very heavy 2-1. We lost two well known people this past week, well, starting with Jerry Springer and the most notorious ladies that they say her one line caused a lot of fire, pretty much. Um, and Caroline Brian Dunham, and everybody that's pretty much over 50 knows who she is. But first with Jerry Springer, they say I guess you say when he did what he when he put it had his show. It was pretty much the it signified the '90s. It what made the '90s the '90s. One of the reasons why the '90s were the decade it was. Crazy down for whatever show. But let's get right to it. Jerry Springer, the former Jerry Springer, the former Cincinnati mayor and news anchor, whose namesake TV show unleashed strippers and homewreckers and skinheads and to brawl and spew obscenities on weekday afternoons, has died. Jerry Springer, the one-time mayor and news anchor, whose namesake TV show featured a three-ring circus of dysfunctional guests willing to bury all, sometimes literally, as they brawled and hurled the obscenities from the raucous audience, died Thursday at 79. At its peak, the early Springer Show was a ratings powerhouse and a U.S. cultural pariah, syn- synonymous with Lori the Drama. Known for chair throwing and bleak-filled arguments, the daytime talk show was a favorite American guilty pleasure over his 27-year run. Hmm. One point topping the Oprah Winfrey Show. Wow. They're saying something within itself. Many called it escapist entertainment, while others saw the show as contributing to the dumbing down and decline in American social values. His ability to connect with the people was at the heart of his success and everything he tried to, whether that was politics, broadcasting, or just joking with people on the street who wanted a photo or a word, said Janine Galvin, a family spokesperson and friend of the Springers since 1970. In a statement, he was irreplaceable, and his loss hurts immensely. Both, but memories of his intellect, heart, and humor will live on. Springer died peacefully at his home in suburban Chicago after a brief illness, the statement said. On his Twitter profile, Springer jokingly declared himself as a talk show host, ringmaster of civilization. He also often had told people tongue in cheek that he wished for them was that it may never be on my show. Over more than 4,000 episodes, the show ended in 2018, never strained from its core salaciousness. Some of his last episodes had such titles as Stripper Sex Turned Me Straight, Stop Pimping My Twin Sister, and Hooking Up with My Therapist. And a Too Hot for TV video release his daily show neared 7 million viewers in the late 1990s. So Springer offered a defense against the disgust. The television does not and must not create values. It's merely a picture of all that's out there. The good, the bad, the ugly. Springer said, adding, believe this, the politicians and companies that seek to control that each of us may watch are far greater danger to America and our treasured freedom than any of our guests ever were or could be. He also contended that the people on his show volunteered to be subjected to whatever ridicule or humiliation awaited them. Gerald Norman Springer was born February 13, 1944, in a London Underground Railroad station, being used as a bomb shelter. His parents, Richard and Margot, were German Jews who fled to England during the Holocaust, in which other relatives were killed in Nazi gas chambers. They arrived in the United States with their son when their son was 5 and settled in the Queens borough of New York City, where Springer got his first Yankee baseball gear on his way to becoming a lifelong fan. He studied political science in Tulane University and got a law degree from Northwestern University. He was active in politics much of his adult life, holding a run for governor as recently as 2017. He entered the arena as an aide in the Robert F. Kennedy's ill-fated 1968 presidential campaign. Springer, working for a Cincinnati law firm, ran unsuccessfully to Congress in 1970 before being elected to the city council in 1971. In 1974, in what the Cincinnati Enquirer reported as a abrupt move that shook Cincinnati's political community, Springer resigned. He cited very personal family considerations. But what he didn't mention was a vice probe involving prostitution, and a subsequent admission that could have been the basis for one of his future shows. Springer said he had paid prostitutes for personal checks with personal checks. Hmm. Hello. Yep. Yeah, that's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. We hooks it. Uh, mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Nah, yeah, you gotta see. You gonna wait there like always. Mm, there you go. There there you go. That's what you do. That's what you do. Get the church's chicken. You'll be able to believe it. And if you want to, get the water burger. Get the water burger. There you go. Look out. Get the red. There you go. Look like somebody's gonna be rolling out late Sunday night in San Antonio. Oh yeah, we know. Anytime you start breaking out that red makeup, yeah, somebody's ready to go. Uh, all right, you better watch your lip. You watch your lip. You watch. You better watch. There you go. Yes, you ready to roll now? Yep, we sure do. Okay, I'm gone. Well, I'm back. Let's see. 10:30. He had married Mickey Velton The previous year, the couple had a daughter, Katie, and divorced in 1994. Springer quickly bounced back politically, winning a council seat in 1975 and serving as mayor in 77. He later became local television politics reporter with popular evening commentaries. He and co-anchor Norman Rashid eventually helped build the NBC affiliate, the WLWT TV. broadcasting to the Cincinnati market top-rated news show. Springer began his talk show in '91 with more of a traditional format, but after he left WLWT in '93, it got a sleazy makeover. TV Guide ranked it number one on the list of worst show in the history of television, but it was ratings gold. It made Springer a celebrity who would go on to host a liberal radio talk show as an American Got Talent star in a movie called Ringmaster and compete on Dancing with the Stars. With all the joking I do with the show, I'm fully aware and thank God every day that my life has taken this incredible turn because of this silly show. Springer told Cincinnati Enquirer Media reporter John Ketzelweiter in 2011. Well, in advance of Donald Trump's political rise for reality TV stardom, Springer molded a Senate run in '03 that he surmised could draw on non-traditional voters, people who believe most politics are poor. I connect with a whole bunch of people who probably connect more with me right now than the traditional politician. Springer told the AP at the time he opposed the war on Iraq and favored expanding public health care, but ultimately did not run. Springer also spoke often of the country he came to at age 5 as a beacon of light for the rest of the world. Have no other motivation but to say I love this country, Springer said to a Democratic gathering in '03. Springer hosted a nationally syndicated Judge Jury show in 2019, continued to speak out on whatever was on his mind in a podcast. His power to shock has had dimmed in the new era of reality TV television and combative cable TV talk shows. He was lapped not only by other programs but by real life. David Coley, a television historian professor at Monmouth University, said in 2018. Despite the limits Springer's show put on his political aspirations, he embraces its legacy. In the '03 fundraising infomercial ahead of a possible U.S. Senate run the following year, Springer referenced a quote by then National Review commentator Jonah Goldberg, who warned of new people brought to the polls by Springers, including slack-jawed yokels, hicks, weirdos, pervs, and whatnots. In the infomercial, Springer referred to the quote and talked about wanting to reach out to the regular folks who weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Sewell, a former Associated Press journalist who retired in 2021, was the primary writer of this obituary. AP journalist David Bowder in New York and former AP journalist Andrew Welch Huggins in Columbus, Ohio, contributed reporting. And there you have it. Basically, pretty much had a former political person turned hot, turned talk show host. You want to call it a talk show, and then it summed up what he was pretty much all about. And um, he, like I said, he was his show was a staple of the '90s. I remember he used to come on. I think late at night. I think late on Saturday night, and had everything on there but the kitchen sink. They say, far as people shoot down for whatever, made Maury Povich look like pretty G-rated, as far as sleaze, and that's what it was all about in that time. 27 years, man, 27 years, and that was the '90s. That was back when I think now 210 was hot then, and among other things. I think it was hell close to 27 years. It's like in a decade, 30 years, 30 to 20 years old. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much him in a nutshell. Past what he accomplished, because some people that's noted for one thing only, and Jerry Springer is well noted for that sleazy show. For, that pretty much was a popular staple in the '90s. What the crowd chanting his name, pretty much will never be forgotten. Pretty much a trademark. Yeah, he used to have people ask questions if you want to call them questions. I think that was pretty much part of the show. That's to keep things going. It's to keep the heat going. In other words, show was so popular that it made that it had a part on the Wayans brothers when they was in the episode of that show. But everybody that's pretty much over 40 pretty much knows about that show. I knew about that show back in the day, and it's pretty much him in a nutshell. Like I said, Jerry. Let's go do some points. I can see if I can find some key points in this story. Brought to you by WDRB. He was a busy boy. Got caught with a prostitute. Busy. Seven million viewers in the late '90s. Got reached that far. Yeah. Then that time you can tell after more than 4,000 episodes, that show ended in 2018, pretty much 5 years ago. But things that this had a way of ending, and that was one of them shows that had to end because reality TV was pretty much was getting it started, and people were not going to tune in to know know Jerry Springer when reality TV was starting to become was pretty much becoming popular and even more popular now. This was like is they weren't gonna ignore hip hop in Atlanta to watch another episode of Jerry Springer show, but that was back in our time. Yeah, in our time, that's the difference between that time and what it is now. As far as reality TV and network TV, where they tape a show and uh, and run it. But it has some titles. They like I said, it wasn't exactly a show fit for Sunday school. Far from it. But he had some titles out as the world. Uh, none was out was off limits. None was off limits. That pretty much sums up the Jerry Springer show and him in general. But 4,000 episodes. Ooh, long time. 27-year run. Even topped Oprah Winfrey show. Even topped that show. Them two were two opposites. Even topped that and Oprah Winfrey show was pretty much a giant. But they summed it up though. They did a good job. WRB with the story. Um, it was America's guilty pleasure. Yep, late Saturday night. But that's all I got for him. On to the next show. On to the next story. In other words, it's 2-1. Okay, I'll be right with you. I'll find a story in this 2-1. Okay, lady center around the death of Emmett Till dies. White woman who accused a black teenager Emmett Till of whistling at and accosting her in the 1955 has died. Jackson, Mississippi. The white woman who accused black teenager Emmett Till of whistling at and accosting her in Mississippi in 1955, causing his lynching, which galvanized a generation of activists to rise up for the civil rights movement, has died in 1988. Carolyn Bryan Dunham died in hospice care Tuesday night in Westlake, Louisiana, according to her death report filed uh, Thursday in the Caecus Parish Coroner's Office. Her death marks the last chance of anyone to be held accountable for the kidnapping and murder that shocked the world. Till's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, insisted on an open casket funeral in their hometown of Chicago so the world could see her 14-year-old son's mutilated body, which was pulled from a river in Mississippi. Jet magazine published the photos. In August of 1955, Till had traveled from Chicago to visit relatives in Mississippi. Dunham, then 21, and named Caroline Bryant, accused him of making improper advances on her at the grocery store, where she was working in the small community of Money. The Rev. Willard Parker, a cousin of Till who was there, said Till whistled at the woman in an act that flew in the face of Mississippi racist social codes of the era. Evidence indicates a woman identified as Till, in fact, Till to Dunham, and husband Roy Bryan and his half brother Jim W. Millum, who killed the teenager, and all white jury acquitted the two men in the killing. But the men later confessed in an interview with Look magazine. When Till disappeared in Mississippi, Holly Gordon, one of Till's cousins, was 7 years old living in Chicago, home of the Teal's mother and family. Gordon told the Associated Press and Thursday that days after he went missing, the home was full of fear because people knew that there was a strong likelihood he had been killed. Gordon said he had mixed emotions about Dunham's death. She was never tried in the court of man, Gordon said. I think she was judged by God, and his wrath is more punitive than any judgment or penalty she could have gotten in the courtroom. I don't think she had a pleasant and happy life. Hmm. Parker is the last living witness to Teal's abduction. He has said in the interviews and speeches that he heard Teal whistle at the woman working behind the counter at Bryant's grocery and meat market. Days later, Parker saw men kidnap Teal in the dark of night from their uncle's home in Mississippi, where the teenager was staying. Parker said Thursday that his heart goes out to Dunham. As a person of faith for more than 60 years, I recognize that any loss of life is tragic and don't have any ill will or animosity toward her, Parker said in a statement. Even though no one now will be held accountable for the death of my cousin and best friend, it's up to all of us to be accountable to the challenges we face in overcoming racial injustice. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Thursday that President Joe Biden was proud to sign an Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act last year to make lynching a federal crime. The president is committed to dealing with the racial hatred, Jean-Pierre said. An unpublished memoir obtained by the AP in 2022, Dunham said she was unaware of what had happened to Till. Historian and author Timothy Tyson of Durham, North Carolina, provided a copy of the 99-page manuscript, I Am More Than a Wolf Whistler, to the AP. He said he received it from Dunham while interviewing her in '08. Tyson had placed the manuscript in the archive at the University of North Carolina with the agreement that it not be made public for decades. Though he said he gave it to the FBI during the investigation, the agency concluded in 2021. A campus spokesperson said Thursday that the university returned Tyson's materials to him in 2022 because they did not agree to open access to the information. Tyson said in 2022 and that he had decided to release the memoir to the news outlets after some of Till's relatives and other people during research in the LaFleur County, Mississippi courthouse in June of 2022 found an arrest warrant on the kidnapping charges that was issued for Miss Roy Bryant, in 55 but never served. Tyson said in a statement Thursday that Dunham's precise role in the killing of Till remains murky, but it's clear she was involved. It was comforted in America. It has comforted America to see that this is merely a story of monsters. Her among them, Tyson said. What is the narrative keeps us from seeing the monstrous social order that cared nothing for the life of Emmett Till, or thousands more like him. Neither the federal government nor the government of Mississippi did anything to prevent or punish this murder. Condemning what Dunham did is easier than confronting what America was and is. Joel Statham was born 2 years after Till, his cousin, was killed. Statham said the older family members protected him from and his siblings and didn't tell them about Till's lynching until they were teenagers. Statham said that he wishes he knew how Dunham reckoned with her own conscience. What did she take with her that no one would know other than her and her maker? Saitham told AP on Thursday. I just hope that no one ever has to go through the pain that our family has endured. Most of the elderly family members who have died. In October, a bronze statue of Teal was unveiled in Greenwood, Mississippi. He smiled from his uncle's home. Also, last year's member of the new Black Panther Party and other activists began showing up at the address associated with Dunham, including North Carolina, Kentucky. They were there to serve unofficial warrants for arrest and trial. Weeks after the unserved arrest warrant was found, the office of Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch said that there was no new evidence to pursue a criminal case against Dunham. In August, a district attorney said that a LaFleur County grand jury declined to indict Dunham. Teal's cousin Priscilla Sterling filed a federal lawsuit against the current LaFleur County Sheriff Ricky Banks on February 7th, seeking to compel him to serve the 1955 warrant on Dunham. In a response, April 13th, Banks's attorney said that there was no point serving the warrant because the grand jury did not indict Dunham last year. Malik Z. Shabazz, one of the attorneys in the lawsuit against Banks, said it's tragic that Mississippi never held Dunham accountable. Caroline Bryant's legacy will be one of dishonesty and justice, Shabazz said, a legacy that verifies that Mississippi coddles and protects white supremacy. Associated Press writer Alan G. Breed in Wake Forest, North Carolina, and Colleen Long in Washington contributed to this report. Well, you heard it here. Caroline Brian Dunham uh, passed away in the hospice, and pretty much the last, next to last witness, one of the most wicked murders in civil rights history, in America history. Um, People were glad this happened, unfortunately, because, like I said, ain't no use carrying that bitterness, because it doesn't change nothing. It doesn't. It ain't no use carrying that hatred because you know better than the. If you carry that hatred for this lady, and seeing that what she has done, see, she was I guess you say accomplice in the act. You know better than the guys that did act, and that's all it's to it. That's all it's to it. But a lot of people think different or thought different when this news story broke. They was celebrating this story, seeing it as good news that she finally got what she deserved. But no, it's not good news. It's not good news. Yeah, she was wrong in lying about it. Even though I think his cousin said that Emmett did whistle at her, but to wish wrong and be glad that this lady's dead at the age of 88. Yeah, that's what Prophet does it do, because Emmett is still gone, and it's still gone. But this act triggered the civil rights movement, pretty much this one act, this one act, 1955, pretty much got it started. But God knows though what she could, what secrets she took with her, and then God would punish those uh, with in this act whatsoever, and that's all it's to it. She may have escaped charges in the man's court, like they said in this story, but she can't escape charges from in God's court. That's a guarantee right there, because God seen that act. He seen what happened in 1955, and it's in Mississippi. He seen what the monsters did. It's because of look, one whistle, one sin, against the code of the deep south. It's unbelievable. It really is if you truly think about it. One whistle triggered triggered a movement at the cost of him. Hell, at the cost of him. I'm surprised they put up a bronze statue of him, but hey, they did. At least Mississippi did that. And to have a side note to this story, I didn't know she lived in Kentucky. Uh, Caroline Bryant Dunham. Yep, dishonest. But that pretty much sums up, like the guy said, Shabazz attorney, a legacy of dishonesty and injustice. That's pretty much it. Whatever she did in previously, she did. This moment sums her up. Legacy of dishonesty and injustice. One lie cost a 14-year-old his life. But that's the nature of that time. Yeah, that's the nature of that time. 1955, Deep South, Mississippi. If it wasn't Mississippi, it would have been Kentucky. If it wasn't Kentucky, it would have been Alabama. It's pretty much the heart of well, I don't need to say no more. But yeah, she got it off. But like I said, they said that they figured that there was no point in serving the warrant because they didn't even serve it last year. But like I said, Deep South, Mississippi, 1955. That pretty much sums it up. But that's all I got. Can't add no more on this 2-1. Said all I needed to say about these two heavyweight figures, and one a lot more different than the other. But said all I needed to say about these two heavyweight figures that would never be forgotten. Um, God bless the families, and this still blesses families in this situation. Both sides, the Dunham family, and I just put like his prayers to the Dunham family and to the Teal family is still dealing with this one act, and that's putting it lightly. And prayers to the Springer family as well. But that's all I got. This is another episode of the Reporter News Reading and Commentary for April 30th, 2023. Have a good one. I'm gone.